name's Mel, and I'm very fortunate to be one of over 350 animal care specialists right here at SeaWorld Orlando. I really do have the best job in the world. I mean, where else do you get to wake up every day, help take care of some animals, and also share their stories? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to share some of these stories with you, as well as highlight the connections that these animals have made with their trainers. But each animal, big or small, they do play a vital role in their ecosystem. And the more we take the chance to study them, get to know about them, we not only enhance their lives, but we also promote the well-being of their wild counterparts. But we're going to try to have some fun with you today. We have some questions. We'll throw them out there. And if you think you know the answer or just want to make a guess, go ahead and shout it out. We'd love to hear from you. But let's start us off and shine a spotlight on one of our animal friends here and help me introduce Rain.
Hi guys! Hello. This is my friend Brad, and Brad has the ever so beautiful Rain. Rain is a Eurasian eagle owl. She's 9 years old. Eurasian eagle owls are found all over Europe and Asia. They're the most common owls out there, and they're the largest owls. So she's technically the second largest species of owl. She weighs in at about 8.5 pounds. These guys can be about 8-9 pounds. She was hatched out at a zoo in Toledo, Ohio, and she recently joined our ambassador team after they were looking for a home for her. So she's become an amazing ambassador for her species, and she is gorgeous, like all owls are. There's over 250 species of owls all over the world except Antarctica, so they're pretty much everywhere. And they all have in common those big, gorgeous eyes that she's staring at you guys with right now. Their eyes are so big, in fact, that they take up 2/3 of her skull. That would be like us having 2 grapefruits in our head. They're so big, in fact, that she doesn't have the muscles back there that allow our eyes to go side to side, up and down without turning our heads. So that's why she has to turn her head so far around. Anybody know how many degrees an owl can turn their head and their neck? 270, I heard it right off the bat, nice. As cool as it would be for her to go round and round and round at 360, kind of a misconception that the cartoons and movies kind of give us, but yeah, 270, which is a good 2/3 of the way around, so it's quite a bit in each direction. And that's because she has more neck vertebrae than we do. We have 7, she has 14. Yeah. So amazing vision. As she's kind of looking to the side, and there she goes all the way around, you can see how the feathers kind of make an outline of her eyes on each direction. Well, her ears are kind of way hidden in those feathers. She has amazing hearing. The feathers are kind of like an amplifier for her. She can hear a mouse up to 75 feet away under the snow stepping. So amazing, amazing accurate hearing. And then of course her wings have these comb-like projections on them so that it makes it so that she has silent flight. So where we can hear most birds fly above us, owls pretty much you can't hear them. So with being able to basically sneak up on their prey, hear them and see them, she's a formidable predator. These guys are amazing at what they do, which is catch everything small that she can get her talons on, rodents, small mammals, snakes, lizards, you name it. Owls are really great to have around our houses. They kind of like pest control, right? They're really good to have around farms. Farmers love to have them, the same thing. They're gonna get those rodents before they eat the crops. They're even so important that scientists use them as an indicator species. What that means is that in different parts of the world, they're gonna study various environments, and some animals, such as owls, are key species that they're gonna look at and see if the population suddenly drops for whatever reason, the owls move out. They know that something's bigger going on in that environment, and they're gonna take a closer look. So they're really important for wherever they are. Now she is not endangered, but there are definitely species of owls out there that are, especially here in the States. We have like the burrowing owls and some other guys. And a lot of that has to do with habitat loss and destruction. Although they are here and there able to adapt to living in our neighborhoods and stuff, around our houses. But sometimes when they are living too close to our houses, things like that, they do get into trouble, especially when we use pesticides around our house to take care of those rodents or insects or what have you. So try and use eco-friendly pesticides when you can. That'll definitely help out animals like Rain. In our area, great horned owls, barred owls. That way if they do get a hold of a mouse or something around our house, they don't accidentally, ingest that as well, any of that stuff that's not good for them. That way they can stick around for future generations to see. So give it up for Rain, she did an amazing job. All right, and now we're gonna move a little bit more local to home and introduce you to our next species.
Alrighty, friends. Now, I'm sure you can see here, it's a snake. Yes, this is Cassandra. She is a Florida king snake, and she is 2 years old. So she is super cool. She's a beautiful snake, and as you can see, she's really gentle. She loves hanging out with us. Now, the king snake here, the Florida king snake, they're one of about 45 subspecies of the king snake. And they're known for that beautiful coloration on her scales there. So you can see she's a brownish color. They can be brown or gray, and they also have those rings. It helps them to blend in with their environment, which also helps them to hide from those predators and to hunt. Now, she will eat any small reptiles, rodents, insects. So again, good for that pest control, kind of like Rain that we just saw. Now, what's really cool though, she will eat those other reptiles like the venomous snakes, like rattlesnakes, cottonmouths, copperheads. She is immune to venom, so she has some antibodies in her that help fight that off. So again, that comes in handy with the pest control around the house. But it's pretty cool. So Cassandra here, she's what we call a surrender. So she was with a family before, and they just didn't really have the right resources to help take care of her. So she was surrendered, and now she has a forever home here in SeaWorld. Now sometimes this happens with exotic pets like Cassandra. So with an exotic pet, you do want to be sure you do the right research, study, know what you're getting into, because they do take some extra care. And they also require an exotic veterinarian. They can't just go to a regular cat or dog vet. They need that special care there. Now, we do want to be sure as well that when we do that research, we're also not getting overwhelmed and releasing these pets into the wild. Because even though she might survive, it's not necessarily where she belongs. And we've seen this down in the Everglades, like with the pythons. They're overtaking, they're an invasive species, and we're losing other species because of it. So if you have an exotic pet, or you may know someone that does, just be sure you're doing that research and knowing what you're getting into, because they are a great pet. And the king snake, they're very common, again, because they are more docile. But Cassandra here, she's about 2 feet. So how big do you think she'll get when fully grown? 5? That's actually very close. When fully grown, she'll get 4 feet long. And so, king snake, it does sound really grand and big, but they'll only get about 4 feet long. So she only has a little bit of growing to do. But I'm gonna take this 2 feet of snake here with me. She's been doing great. Let's give her a round of applause. Bring her on back, and we'll introduce another local Florida resident with my friend Brad. Maybe. His wife must be delayed and flew in with Delta. All right, here we go. Here's Brad.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Cassandra. When you think of wildlife in the state of Florida, what animal comes to mind? An alligator. Yeah, we made that question easy for you, didn't we? This is my buddy Bayou, and he is an American alligator, and he's only 1 year old. Now, hard to believe this little 1-year-old alligator can grow to nearly 600 pounds and be almost 13 feet long. Pretty incredible. I think I'm gonna need some more trainers, right, when that happens? Not gonna be just me. Now, Bayou here, they can live here in Florida. The American alligators found here in Florida. Also Texas, Louisiana, so most of the southeastern United States. Swamps, rivers, and marshes is where you'll find these guys. They can live about 35 to 50 years, and in a zoological facility, they've got it made. They can live nearly 80 years. No pollution, no predators, and great health benefits. So they can live long lives. Now, a little bit about this guy. I'm sure you got a pretty good view of him right now. These little squares all over his body have a big fancy name called osteoderms. And basically they are bony plates or armor all over his body. And it helps him quite a bit, especially out in his environment where they are moving around a lot, hunting prey. They need to have some pretty strong armor all over them. And they do, because they are a very powerful, formidable predator out there in their environment. Now, inside of his mouth, he has lots of teeth. Does anybody want to guess how many teeth is in this guy's mouth? Or 37, a little higher.
45.
45, higher than 45, can you believe it? Higher than that? 60, almost there, we're getting there.
52.
Who said 80? 80 teeth up in there, yeah, great job. 80 teeth, all those were great guesses. But yeah, they're very small, so that's why there's so many can fit in there. But there's 80 teeth inside of his mouth. all right? And they do lose their teeth. They can go through anywhere about 2,000 to 3,000 teeth in their entire lifespan, okay? They just fall out and then they grow right back in this mouth. Now the tail. Well, the tail's pretty neat on an alligator, and there's one really cool thing they do with this tail, is they will dig holes in the ground with it, all right? Now, why would they do that? It's very important for them to still have water. So in times of drought, they still need water. They will dig a hole, and that hole will fill up with water, and that's where they can kind of be safe and sneak up on prey and things like that. So very important. It's also kind of cool for the ecosystem too, because these gator holes, once they're there and the gator leaves, other animals will find shelter inside these alligator holes. And some birds even lay eggs inside of them. So great for the environment, stirs up the soil, and really important there. Now, the female alligator protects its young up to about 2 to 3 years. They're going to protect their young. And the temperature of the soil where the female alligator lays its eggs will determine the gender of the baby. So if it's cooler soil, it will be a girl, and if it's warmer soil, it will turn out to be a boy. That's because girls are cooler, right? Is that how it works? Yeah. My wife loves me when I tell my jokes. Yeah, so that's how the gender is determined with the alligator. Now, the alligator, the American alligator, was on the endangered species list back in 1967. And through years of conservation efforts, we've been able to remove them off of that list. And in the 80s, 20 years later in the 80s, they came off of that list, and they also became the state reptile of Florida. Do I have any Floridians in here? Yeah, who's seen an alligator out there? Yeah, you've seen some alligators out there. Probably, in your neighborhood, sometimes even walking the dog, you might see an alligator in a retention pond or somewhere else. Or quite possibly, if you enjoy golf, you'll see them on the golf course. Well, it's really important to enjoy these animals because they are pretty cool, right? It's just important to give them their space and enjoy them from a distance. That way they can go on with their thing they do. And we also want to make sure not to feed any type of wildlife out there because they could become dependent upon the food that's given to them. So if we keep all these things in mind, we'll be able to keep them off the endangered species list for many more years to come. Okay? Well, thanks for listening to me talk about the alligator. Before we welcome our next animal, I think you guys can help me out with this last part, I hope. See you later.
Alligator.
Thank you, guys.
After a while, crocodile. Now again, we saw some Florida locals, but we're gonna take it a little more global with this next animal. You guys excited? Yeah. He's a really cool ambassador. So he's making his way on out here. All the animals, they can come and go as they please. It's their choice. So she might take a minute. He likes to build the anticipation. He is a star. He's amazing. So this here is Newman. He is a 21-year-old Southern African ground hornbill. You may hear him tap on these boxes. Total normal behavior. So he's using his beak as like a tool. So he can kind of know what's going on around him. And he's making sure that this box is real. It's there. Now again, the ground hornbill, in their name it says ground because they do prefer to spend most of their time on the ground, but they can fly. They can get a wingspan up to about 4 feet wide, and they can fly up to about 18 miles per hour. It's really impressive. But you can see here with Heather, Newman is what we call imprinted, and that just means he's bonded with people. He was hand-raised in SeaWorld San Antonio, and he recognizes more as a human, and he prefers the company of humans over other animals. So he's pretty funny there. He loves his little scratches. But you can see up on the screen here that beautiful red face of his. So that's how we can tell he's a male on his throat there, on that waddle. He's got a red one. Females, it'll be a deep purple color. That's about the best way you're going to be able to tell if it's a female or a male. But that waddle, he can also inflate it and do what's called a booming sound. And that booming can be heard up to 4 miles away. It's pretty impressive. They'll do that to communicate with each other, ward off predators, and sometimes that booming has been mistaken for a lion's roar. Imagine that. Pretty cool. Now, Newman here, as well as the other African ground hornbills, they will eat, again, those small reptiles, rodents, insects, and they'll use that beak to forage. And they'll hunt together in their little family groups. But unfortunately, the Southern African ground hornbill, they are endangered. They have one of the slowest reproductive rates. They only have about 1 chick every 9 years.
And part of that is actually due to habitat loss. They'll only raise their chicks, make nests in one specific tree. So without the tree, they're not making as many nests. Now, SeaWorld, their conservation efforts have donated and participated with some projects out in Kruger National Park. Well, they'll make some fake trees that these birds have accepted to make their nests in. But they'll also go in and hand raise the other eggs, because even when those eggs hatch, they'll still just raise the one. So they'll go in and hand raise those eggs so they can reintroduce those chicks as well to the wild. So we're starting to see those numbers on the rise. So it's really great that we're starting to see them again out there. He's jumping off for us. Now, Newman, he did a great job here. Let's give him a round of applause. Now, again, he might hang out with us. It's totally okay. He loves that spotlight. If he could, he'd go and meet each and every one of you. But as we conclude our journey, we are reminded that every creature, whether big or small, they deserve love, compassion, and a second chance. And through the Rescue Center, we're very proud to offer that second chance to these animals. And here in SeaWorld, we have already rescued over 41,000 animals in about 60 years, so that's really cool.
That's right, and right here at SeaWorld Orlando, we have released 29 manatees and 45 sea turtles just this year. So let's give our rescue staff and our veterinary team a big round of applause. Thank you.
Yep, and we're not done yet. Through those animal rescuers and through compassionate people like yourselves, the more we dedicate that time and share these stories, these animals will succeed and hear those stories forever.
That's right. And as and then we're not done yet. So these stories of hope and healing will continue every day. And thank you so much for coming to see us, and have a wonderful day here at SeaWorld.
Have a great day.